Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, so this is going to be today's tarot topic for the 13th of February. And let's see what we've got. We have the Tower, we have the Nine of Wands, we have the Seven of Wands. Somebody is having a serious meltdown and they are looking at how their wounds that they either clung to or hid have actually caused major blockages in the things that they should have already moved forward on in life. This could be a divine masculine recognizing this, could be an Aries, could be a Sag or a Leo. Two of Cups upright. So the biggest blockage was obviously with somebody that they loved dearly. What was your wound? Character, do you want to tell us what it was? Have you dug in to realize what the wounding was that made you behave in a certain way? Knight of Pentacles, and then that Four of Wands sideways. It could have been that they got brokenhearted over someone else that they had really wanted to marry. And that person either played them for the fool or backed out or kept them wondering or something where it was all about like a wound of like maybe somebody hurt them and then they made this promise to themselves like I'll never love again. I'll, never really give my trust to somebody again because somebody that I really loved or thought I really loved wasn't sure about me. It could be that we could say maybe it messed with their, confidence, but I'm thinking because of the willful, Knight of Pentacles, Two of Wands, I think that they decided that they would punish everybody from that point forward. They would always, no matter how wonderful somebody was to them, they would punish that wonderful person because they would always remember, yeah, but see, I know that an ex wasn't sure about me. So you might also be that way. Look, maybe I shouldn't say that they wanted to punish anybody. We don't have any angry or hurtful things on purpose. We have their hurts. But here's the thing, when it says no justice up above and they're here boxing and they're fighting, that's why I think it is them. What happens when we get hurt? Sometimes we get pissed off at the world. We get pissed off at, things that we have no business being pissed off over. And I'm going to say that's how it felt. I'm going to say that's what the wrong was, that they then perpetuated, on the person that didn't deserve it. I mean, there was somebody here who was really giving, somebody that they wanted to give to, and someone who proved that she wanted to give to them. They met their Two of Cups, and because of their wounds and stuff, they shoved her away. Are you aware then that you treated somebody really good, really bad? Ooh, Lover's card sideways. They may have even made sure that they kept their options open. Oh, the World card. I think that they intentionally went and chose someone other than their Two of Cups. That this is, terrific for them to realize what they did. But what happens now? If on the 13th you are realizing the mistakes that you made, Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is, I've got to take action towards somebody that I love dearly. Two of Swords, somebody who is likely not wanting anything to do with me at this point. Is that your Two of Cups then? King of Pentacles, although we have a Queen on this King card, they have this huge desire to give like literally the world to somebody. And I said, is this your Two of Cups? My guess is yeah, most likely. But what about the way you've treated her? Death card, I'll never treat her that way again. Yeah, well, good luck with that. I don't know, what you do to people means that's what they know you as. And you changing your behavior, which is wonderful, doesn't erase the way you already treated her. Him, her, doesn't matter. This could be same-sex, relationship, opposite genders. Let me go back with that Lover's card sideways. The Sun. They're like, she made me so happy. Yeah, but again, I'm asking about the Lover's card because it says you didn't choose her. They're just saying, I want to marry her. Yeah, but again, the Lover's card sideways. Page of Pentacles. I just want to start all over with her again. The Lover's card sideways. I have a lot of regret over what I did. Yeah. Takes you a long time to get to that point of even figuring out how to say sorry then, huh? Universe, do you want to weigh in on this person? I kind of hope that their Two of Cups person has moved on myself, but I don't know that this person feels very accountable. It looks like they just want her, they just want her, they just want her, they just want her. They're having this big meltdown moment where they're realizing that they blew it with the person they really loved, but it took a long time for them to admit that they even feel regretful over this. And now they're coming in like, I want to, shelter her and, offer her, something. I don't, Universe, what's the best way to look at this situation? Two of Swords. The universe says there's still something they're refusing to see. We have the Five of Swords in the reverse. Three of Pentacles, King of Swords. They're refusing to see because either they're trying to sweep under the rug. If they were hostile toward her or something, they may be ignoring that part and acting like, what? They might have been awful to her. I mean, I know it's in the reverse, like this is the thing that they're not seeing. When they could have been like this, if they were a Five of Swords, they might have treated her very terribly, punished her as if she was a person who'd hurt them, even though she wasn't. And now they're coming back like, hey, I think I can totally get with you now. With that King of Swords upright. I think that the universe is saying they are very conveniently sidestepping, other than knowing that, wow, I was really hurt, and that's why I pushed away my Two of Cups. But the thing that they're forgetting is I treated my Two of Cups horrendously. And now I believe they'll just want to be with me as I want to be with them now. And once upon a time, they wanted to be with me. But the universe is even saying, oh, you're not looking at, you're intentionally ignoring, acting like there was no tremendous wrongdoing in the way you treated her. Five of Swords is bad, but they've got it in the reverse. Like, what do you mean that didn't happen? She's going to want to be with me. I've got all this to offer with this King of Swords. Universe, what would you say to them for like a reality check then? Let's change decks. For a reality check, what would the universe say to this person? Wheel of Fortune. You've changed. Well, time has changed in general. Time changes for everyone. Epiphanies happen not just for you, but for everyone. Page of Coins in the reverse, Nine of Swords in the reverse, Four of Coins upright. What has changed most likely for her is that she doesn't care to hear what you've got to say. She's not stressed or wondering how you're doing, and it's not going to bother her if you do reach out. She's not going to be bothered by somebody who held back and was stingy. She may think you're even a game player. So it's like, oh, I'll give some things to you, but then I'll hold back other things. So it doesn't matter how much of a, like you feel so different now. You built a reputation with her as somebody that holds your energy away and plays games. And so she doesn't feel the need to give to you because in her mind, you're just a Four of Pentacles. Yikes. I mean, that's a real, like, hey, the universe is saying, how do you think you treated her? Because that's who she knows you as now. And Two of Swords. It doesn't matter. She's not going to be responding to you. So that's what the universe is letting them know. Okay, universe, do you have any encouragement for them, though? Four of Swords, Ace of Swords. The universe says you probably need to think long and hard about a few more things before you go taking any action. This says for them not to try racing toward her as that King of Swords, but rather they're going to need to sit with themselves and ask themselves more questions about, how healed are they? Having this breakthrough, like, oh my God, I pushed her away because I was still hurt. That's not the same as them being healed. That's them just now wanting her. Page of Wands. Universe says there's also this energy of you need to heal enough to be able to be truthful with yourself and ask yourself, why would she want you back? And I know that sounds like a really rude question, but the universe is nudging them to say the only way you're really going to wrap your head around the full scenario here is if you can look at yourself in the mirror truly and say, who did I behave as? And why would this person even want me back? Who would I need to be? Who should I have been? Was I an emperor? Because if they're going to build themselves into somebody that she might want to talk to again, they're going to have to first look at who they have been toward her so that they can wrap their head around, the bits and pieces that we're missing and the things that maybe should be worked on and developed so that they can bring those things to the table. So the universe is like, don't go running to reach out to her. That is not going to be in your best interest. What happens, universe, if they do just go for it and they decide they're going to reach out to her anyway? Six of Pentacles. This says she may actually respond. Temperance, Strength, and Ten of Wands. She may respond with, that's great. Thank you for the lovely conversation. And then she holds herself in high esteem and she says, and now I can let this all go. And it's a closed door. So here's the thing. If they reach out to her, she will be polite. And she will also assume that this is them just, like, hey, that's great. You wanted to reach out. Take care of yourself. I've moved on. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. And it's going to be over and done. And she really will get full closure. And this will just be like, okay, cool. So if they reach out to her before they've done some work on themselves of being able to look in the mirror in a really significant way, they won't be getting anything other than a farewell permanently from her. Now, if they pause and they do some work on themselves, how might things differ? Lover's card. So the only way that they can probably rebuild anything or have even a slim chance of maybe, having her feel the same way about them again, once as she did maybe once upon a time, is if they actually do some work on becoming the emperor. They can't just show up, reach out to her, be like, oh man, I was so wounded. That's why I, blew you off. That's not the same as taking accountability and asking themselves that really important question of, why would she even want me? What am I bringing to the table? Who have I acted out as? Who do I need to be to make her want something to do with me? Those questions, that would show more real growth and healing on their part and more self-awareness. And that's the only way that they're going to get a shot with her. So let me ask maybe our most important question here, which is, are they going to understand this before they just go attempting to reach out? Because that part we don't know either. We're not sure here. Let's go with this deck. Character, are you just going to make a move and reach out to her? Or Nine of Swords? It doesn't look like they're going to be reaching out. It looks like they're going to be sitting in some deep thought. So that we start with the Tower. We see them realizing what they've done, and then we see them really stressed. And that just could be because of the realization that's sinking in about how they handled this whole thing. Seven of Swords, though, but they immediately go to rewrite history so that they don't have to feel the feels of the stress. Five of Cups, they start to self-focus on how lonely they are. See, I was wounded, and I was so wounded. Three of Swords, I was so hurt by somebody of my past, and that's why I pushed this other person away. But they're not yet thinking about how they treated the other person. We have Three of Pentacles, and then they start to build this idea that now I want to go back to the past, and I want that beautiful offer that I had that I was too wounded to accept. Queen of Pentacles, and I want her to give to me. Oh no. It looks like they are about to make the worst move ever, because they're only focusing on themselves. And it's because they don't want to look at or take accountability for how they behaved. That's too stressful. So instead they start rewriting the story. See, I was really sad and I got brokenhearted by somebody, and that's why I behave this way. It feels like they want to bring their sob story almost to their two of cups, who could be possibly a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. So this King of Swords is this close anyway, or this is what the plans are so far. On the 13th, they're probably going to be reaching out to their Two of Cups person who they treated like garbage. But instead of saying anything about like that, it looks like they're gearing up to say, I was so brokenhearted over somebody. I was so sad. And, that's why I, just wasn't ready for anything, because I was so brokenhearted. But at no point does it say that they're going to be saying, oh my God, I treated you like a monster. I'm an emperor now. And I think that's why the universe said, if they pull that stunt, what's going to happen is that Queen of Pentacles is going to say, hey, I understand. Glad you're healing now. And that's it. She holds herself in high regard and she moves on and she lets him go. Don't feel bad. You treated me the way you treated me, but I've moved on. She's not going to be thinking about giving them a second chance. It looks like this person is going to blow it on the 13th. That's what it looks like. The Lovers and the Death card. They're going to blow it. Now, they don't have to. They could do a short stop and be like, whoa, what am I about to do? But it says on this storyline, they're going to blow it. And that's unfortunate, because the way they're not going to be addressing anything about their behavior. They're only going to be saying, I was sad, I was hurt, but they're not going to be addressing or even able yet to think honestly and openly about the way they treated her, because they want to shy away from it, because that is embarrassing. So that's how they're going to lose this connection on the 13th. Based off of what their actions look like. Do we have any inkling of like, are you going to realize what you just did? King of Swords, Knight of Swords, they will possibly figure it out immediately afterwards, because I do think she'll talk to them and then the phone will be hung up and she will move on. And I think that's when the light bulb's going to go on. Oh boy. So I'm sorry, that is what the message is here, though. Somebody's about to really blow it. So then they're going to have to either try to fix that, or they're going to finally start to grow from that. But it does look like we have a feminine moving on, but this feminine is going to receive a message from them on the 13th and is just going to give her closure, and she moves on, even though that was not what their intention was. So we just saw the whole thing play out behind the scenes. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.